It was really a means to an end, the cheese thing. It was, you know, how do you survive on Salt Spring?
Salt Spring Island is known internationally as an artistic and artisan hotspot.
Well, I've always loved islands, and I think Salt Spring is sort of a balance between a really tiny remote island with nothing happening and a sort of big rural area, because it's got the essentials, you know, a reasonable sized community. So it seemed like a pretty good compromise.
Salt Spring Island Cheese sold their first piece of cheese 18 years ago, but they started the cheese process 6 years before that.
I needed to learn how to look after a sheep, milk a sheep, make cheese, and that was the 6-year process.
Before moving to Salt Spring and starting the farm and cheese factory, David had no knowledge of goats or sheep. Moving from the big smog of Toronto to Salt Spring Island to make cheese seems like a drastic step, but it was a move with clear motivation.
I think the major motivation was to be around the kids when they were growing up. Our kids were pretty young at the time. I was working really a lot in Toronto, and I didn't see the kids very much. So I thought it was time to make a change and do something where I could be around when the kids were growing up. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. It worked.
And so the farm became a family project.
The boys used to milk the sheep before they went to school in the morning and when they came home from school in the evenings, and I got to work with them that way, and we've worked together at the markets for years and years and years.
And what started as a family business has now grown into a whole enterprise of its own.
Yes, there's a whole lot of turning going on in there today. We do a lot of that. It's part of the ripening process for the cheeses.
It tastes really good. And it also looks really pretty. We do our best to make the best cheese that we can, and I think it is really good cheese. We're very careful. We do it in a very traditional way. It's all handmade.
We drain from one side, we turn them over, make sure they drain from the other as well. Otherwise, the curd is left too wet and difficult to handle when it comes over to packaging. I enjoy the act of making cheese. I like the idea of making a product which other people can enjoy.
For a person who's lactose intolerant, I eat a lot more cheese than I should. But the best part of Salt Spring Cheeses is that it's goat's cheese. So for the most part, I'm good to go.
In the beginning, they only made sheep cheese, but now Salt Spring Island Cheese has a large selection to choose from.
As well as different flavors of the soft fresh cheese, we make different types of cheese. You know, we make camembert and a blue camembert, and a washed rind cheese, and then a couple of hard cheeses and feta cheese. And we do try to sort of keep things fresh and interesting.
And they aren't calling it quits at cheese.
One of the things that we've just started doing last year is goat milk ice cream. Yeah, you should try some before you go. Yeah, it's really good and very, very light, but it's got a great creamy texture and great flavor.
With island life and a rural countryside neighboring larger urban areas, Salt Spring Island Cheese is getting the best of both worlds.
It's been a good choice, and Salt Spring's been a good place to be. You know, we're between Vancouver and Victoria. So those are two good markets.
Stuffed full of delicious cheese on Salt Spring Island, I'm Meg Cuthbert.